And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. The plot thickens. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. On our latest episode, coming up for you, we're going to have a lot of good things to talk about, including F1, also as well, Megan 2.0, among other things, including also as well what we're looking forward to in the world of video games and streaming as well. And of course, later this week, I'm going to touch on Ironheart a little bit more. I'm going to touch on season 4 of The Bear. I just binged all 10 episodes of The Bear. And my eyes are just still So I'm going to go ahead and share thoughts on that later this week. And then also as well, we're going to go ahead and talk about Squid Games season 3 and why not be, well, Wild may not be the end of Squid Games. So we're going to go ahead and discuss that on the next PC Multiverse later this week. But don't fear, you've got a Pop Culture Cosmos dropping tomorrow for everyone out there for audio on Apple Podcasts and also as well Spotify. Or if you want to catch it right now, it's available on YouTube at the Pop Culture Cosmos as well. Joe Sora hopefully is joining in so we can go ahead and gloat and smile and have fun and enjoy the moment because of what LeBron's actions have done for today. If you want to go ahead and support him, you can start with Steam. I did want to mention that Steam Summer Sale, his game that he helped finance and make a reality, Corrupt, Coreupt on Steam, is now 80% off. 80% off. So you just type in that Coreupt on Steam. It comes right up for you. It is only $5. That's right, $5 buckaroonies right there for you on Steam. So go ahead and take advantage of that while you can. Also, as well, of course, he is on the Joe Soro channel on YouTube, and of course, playback.tv, like we are, /Lakers Fast Break. He is / the Joe Soro Experiment as well. So go ahead and make sure you take care of Mr. Simblaze, SimblazeWorldwide.com. Big shout out to Empire Jeff covering the Lakers and the Dodgers. Also, as well, of course, the Lakerholics. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Yo, doing some game streaming. Since there's not any basketball to cover, he's doing some game streaming, NBA 2K and more. So go ahead and check out his channel. Don't forget Legend, my good friend with I Got Next Sports Media. Don't forget Alfred Esmond at Alfred Esmond on Twitter. Stone Hansen, after somehow appearing on John's channel first. I'm going to have to talk to John on that one. And Stone. He will be here, Stone Hansen, on Tuesday at report_court. Go ahead and make sure you follow him with all the latest draft analysis and thoughts, and basically probably a start on what's coming next year in the draft as well. So go ahead and check out all these great people, all these great places, all these great things, but make sure you go ahead, like and subscribe. Do what Blue is giving you the command. He's saying like and subscribe. So please like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live with the latest Lakers Fast Break podcast. So other guys getting ready to go ahead and hopefully jump on in here. Do want to go ahead and get you guys up to speed because today was the last day for last minute wrangling, decisions, opting out, opting in, things like that. And a very interesting decision made that could affect the Lakers as well. So we're going to go ahead and discuss that. So I'll first start off with, of course, LeBron James. LeBron James, he has opted into the final year of his contract. I know a lot of people were wondering, is he going to go ahead and opt out and do another one-on-one? Is he just going to go ahead and retire? Is he going to go ahead and opt in for just 1 year? Well, Joe was asking for it, and he opted into the final year of his contract at $52.6 million for his final year. Possibly with the Lakers. We don't know, but riddle me this, Batman. When this announcement came of LeBron James picking up that $52.6 million option on his contract, Rich Paul, his agent from Clutch, said this: LeBron wants to compete for a championship. Quote, he knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie and Rob, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. Ah, awesome. Doesn't that sound sweet?
Yay! A subscriber!
Thank you, Dip. Appreciate you subscribing. So there you have it. There are the words of Rich Paul, agent for LeBron James, as he opts into the $52.6 million final year of his Laker contract. Could it be the final year as a Laker? Does he have more left in the tank? We're going to go ahead and see how this plays itself out. Remember, he has a no trade clause, but if something should arise and he decides to go ahead and seek something out where he feels like he has a better chance of winning a championship, you never know what's going to happen there. I do want to mention also as well, he does again have a no trade clause. A lot of rumors speculating on maybe a possible return to Cleveland because they could be the team in the East to watch out for. Obviously, they're probably the favorite at this point in time in the East. Remember, their salary structure is such that you cannot aggregate players in order. So if they were to trade for LeBron, it would have to be for something exactly dollar to dollar to what LeBron's 52.6 salary is. So that would be really tough for them to go ahead and negotiate a deal right now with Cleveland at this point. But who knows in the future? Will he finish up a Laker? Will he finish up his career the Cavs or somewhere else? We'll have to go ahead and wait and see. Dorian-Finney Smith also opted out of his contract to final year of $15.4 million. He will become a free agent here tomorrow. And by the way, go ahead and join us tomorrow at 2:30. We're going to go ahead and get you prepped for the 3 p.m. start of the free NBA free agency. We'll get you go ahead and take care of that. I'll schedule it out here in a little bit. But he did opt out, and he is looking to be a free agent. Whether or not the Lakers want to or can re-sign him, that remains to be seen. It does one thing as far as for him. It allows him to go ahead and explore other options. And Houston seems to be their front runner. If you look at what's out there as far as the rumors and innuendo, as far as where he may be going, which could mean maybe possibly a sign and trade somewhere, maybe like for Cam Whitmore to the Lakers. Throwing that in there, just dreaming. But be that as it may, he will become a free agent here in a matter of hours. Also, as well, just to note, this increases the mid-level exception that the Lakers can utilize in free agency from the 5.6 the regular MLE over $10 million so that they can use in free agency. And look who is here. A good man indeed. He is here to gloat. He is here to go ahead and say all the things he said in the past if LeBron did today what he wanted him to do. Now, mind you, I wanted that. Thank you, Intel. Going to get you here in a second. But I also kind of wanted partly to go ahead and him do a one-on-one just to piss Joe off. But thankfully, he did something that him and I both agree on. It is, of course, my good friend Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here. Looks like you got some sun, man.
Oh yeah, I've been in the pool for the last 2 days.
Life's so hard.
Yeah, I know. Different pools too, not just mine.
There you go. No, you look good, my friend. You look good. Wanted to go ahead and thank you, Intel. Podfather, what do we have to pay Aiden? So this is the other part of the innuendo. So I'm just getting everybody up to speed because in recent hours, Joe, I did talk to him about LeBron opting out. I did talk to him, opting in. I did talk to them about DFS, Dorian-Finney Smith, opting out. The third part of this equation is, figure this one out, Joe. DeAndre Ayton is finalizing a contract buyout with the Portland Trailblazers and is going to become a free agent. Now, he had $35.6 million left on his final year of his contract. He would still be very young had he been, if he would have been a free agent the next year. I wonder why, Joe, he would be doing this at this point in time, Joe.
Well, I would say, when it comes to buyouts, it's obviously a mutual agreement between the team and the player. And then there's less money that's paid out. And then at that point, during the off season, because it's different rules during the regular season. The regular season, there's a hierarchy. Those who have money, those who are under the cap, blah, 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 blah. But in the off season, there are no restrictions. So if I had to take a guess, and I don't think the Lakers were the primary, but it definitely is in the mix. What better place would DeAndre Ayton want to go to promote himself for the next big contract? He's got an open spot waiting for him. Money would be there for the Lakers to pay. And he's a 15-10 guy. I mean, that's it. It's exactly what the Lakers need. The motor, the attitude. I've mentioned this on the show before. I didn't see an attitude or a motor issue until Phoenix was kind of going back and forth on whether he was a max player, which I actually did not blame Phoenix for that. But
and in Portland, he has done the same thing, like in and out. One day there, one day not so much there.
Yeah, not a lot of motivation to play well in Portland, unfortunately. Portland has, I wouldn't say they're like the Sacramento Kings, because the Sacramento Kings tend to just be there, but they are at the moment kind of like that. No one really wants to go to Portland. Portland doesn't have any next level draft picks or had any like next level draft picks that they could kind of say, hey, look, they're on the come up. No, they're gonna probably go south before they hope that they could get something maybe next year or the year after that. But how this can work out for the Lakers, and we've talked about this enough. The option to trade for him was there, although I didn't want Rui or Reeves to be in that mix because we wanted to maintain depth. Now, the Lakers have that opportunity. So they're going to have to convince Ayton, if he hasn't already made a decision on where he's going next, to come to LA. He's going to have a starting spot. He's going to have the largest stage to show himself to potential free agent lookers for 2026. And then it really, really plugs in a huge hole for the Lakers with someone who's actually has talent. And guys, DeAndre Ayton is 26 years old. This is, I would love to get Jokic. I would love to get a top line center. Believe
Wouldn't
me,
every team outside of Denver?
I would love to get someone that has a motor or isn't a malcontent behind the scenes. However, beggars cannot be choosers, and
yeah, they'll all have baggage. Anybody we get is going to have some type of baggage.
And you have to also
except for Kessler.
Correct. And you have to understand this issue did not start until a team disrespected the player for his worth. This is not the first time this has happened. It will never be the last time. And for DeAndre Ayton, in terms of the advantage that the Lakers have, he is going to play his rear end off because it's a financial matter now. And he is going to have two of arguably the greatest of their generation distributors on this team.
So let me get a couple of the quotes in here, the super chats. Thank you so much again to Intel for the great super chats. He said, Podfather, what do we have to pay Ayton? I'm going to touch on that in a second. Portland is where you go when you want your basketball career to unalive itself. Good one, Intel. Very good one indeed. So, Joe, as you and I know, with over the years we've been covering the basketball operations known as the NBA. When you opt out of a contract like DFS did today, and like DeAndre Ayton is formulating a finalizing of a buyout of his contract, you usually don't do it unless you have a very good idea about how much you can get on a longer contract or a location in mind as well. Now, mind you, Joe, they're not supposed to call and have contact with agents or anything like that. So they're not really supposed to know those things in advance. But you and I both know that that's been the case. There's been some conversations. I'm sure DFS already has a decent idea of where he would like to go or how much he's going to get. And I believe Ayton does as well. What do you think his value is? What do you think we have to pay him in order to get him away from some of the other teams that need a center, like Golden State, for instance, in order to go ahead and have him become a Laker?
What likely will end up seeing what's going on in Minnesota. I was shocked today by the signing of Julius Randle.
3 years, $100 million.
I guess Minnesota's going all in, and
Yes, that's what I said.
New ownership, I guess, is like, I don't care about luxury taxes. We need to win a championship in Minnesota. Good for them. I was shocked. I thought they were going to let one of those guys go. I did not think they were going to sign both.
I like this one from Bloodhound. Lakers can get Malik Beasley for cheap.
Yeah, that's
Bet
another.
on it.
That's. I'm gonna have a show after the LFB, and I'm gonna go into that subject a little bit.
Because right now he's under federal investigation in regards to some gambling issues.
Yeah, this is not going to be the last time that the sports leagues are going to have to deal with this. As soon as a big name gets involved in something like this, that's when they're going to start getting. You know how in wrestling the steroid thing lingered and lingered and lingered. They even had a court case in the early 90s. Vince ended up winning that court case, but 10, 15 years later, once the Benoit thing happened, it almost took out all of his business. And now I don't believe that's going to happen to the leagues, but what's going to end up happening is there's going to be a huge 180 change, I think, in the next decade or so with this gambling, the supporting of the gambling in the sports leagues. But I'll discuss that more on the experiment tonight. So I think there's a couple ways this can go, looking at it from a Lakers standpoint. He could, maybe it was, well, he was going to do this anyways. So he's going to test the market. If somebody out there wants to pay him $20 to $25 million for 4 years, he's going to take that deal. And I don't think the Lakers are going to pay him that. However, if he doesn't get that, then maybe they just pay him what they were paying him, maybe a little bit of a raise, and then maybe sign him on a 3-year contract. I think that's probably how that goes. Like a 15-year, 45, 3-year, 45, 3-year, 60, 3-year, 55, something like that, somewhere around there.
Because right now their mid-level is 14.1 is what they can offer. So.
Right. So that's pretty much, and again, I'm counting the increases every year that they have them. I won't be heartbroken if he leaves, but it does kind of limit the depth a little bit. And of course, he's a companion of Luka. They're good friends. The chemistry will always be there. The good vibes will always be there. You wanna have guys that have talent like DFS has, with someone who's going to be the captain of the ship, relying on that person and having a good relationship with them. And I just don't know. I don't have a feeling on how that's going to play out. I don't know who would pay DFS
Houston.
$20 million
I've been told. Yeah, Houston. I've been told is actually looking into trying to acquire his services, which could make Cam Whitmore expendable. Which I don't know if with the right roster, adjustment and right salary structure. I don't know. Maybe a sign and trade. I know it's a pipe dream between you send out DFS, we get back Cam Whitmore. That would be the best of situations, but I don't think that's going to happen to help get more money in DFS's pocket. I don't think that will happen, though. I think he could just be signed outright as far as for through the unrestricted free agency platform. But same thing for Aiden. The Lakers will now have 14.1 with the MLE to go shopping. So with that said, my friend, is it DeAndre Ayton's to go there? Because again, it's not a certainty and it's not a fact right now if he is going to go to the Lakers. Again, I mentioned the Golden State Warriors. There are other teams that need a center. I mean, he is, I know that to our chat, very polarizing because, Joe, they have seen the good and they have seen the bad. I understand that he is a walking 15 and 10. But there are days where he just doesn't really care and look like on the court and didn't get the 15 and 10. So with that said, you've been championing him for quite a while to the Lakers. DeAndre Ayton could be a very good possibility for the Lakers come tomorrow.
And I do believe that that's his best spot, not because I'm a Laker fan. If I wasn't a Laker fan, I'd still say the Laker spot is for him. How well he'd work in Golden State, I don't know. Does he want to deal with Draymond Green that day? He feels like being DeAndre Ayton. I don't think that's a good spot for him. I think the guys on the Lakers right now, except for maybe JJ Redick because he's kind of a hothead, I'd say you probably have a better chance of being you there than you would in Golden State because Draymond Green loves to pick on guys that don't fight back. And I think that would be a recipe for disaster in Golden State if you decided to choose to go there. Another place to go would be maybe Miami to play with Bam Adebayo and that, put those guys up front. I don't know if that's something that Pat Riley would want to deal with. Could he go to I don't know about Houston. Houston's makes sense, but not really. I mean, Sengun is there. They kind of play the same position. At least Bam Adebayo is kind of a defensive rebounding type.
You just signed Adams to an extension. Too,
yeah, I don't see him going to Houston in any way.
San Antonio.
I don't think San Antonio would want.
Wembanyama is okay.
I don't think San Antonio. He's not cut up for a San Antonio team. He's cut up for this particular situation with the Lakers. That's really what it is. It's just what it is, guys. I mean, it plays the. I had no idea he was gonna get bought out because I always assumed that most people don't want to lose out on all that money. But
that's a big risk he's taking. That's a lot of.
He is. He's taking that risk, and I believe he knows where he's going next.
They always know. They always have contact these days. I mean, that's a farce. And I know the league always says they look into it, and sometimes they take action, but for the most part, it's just a bunch of BS. Everybody seems to know and kind of have contact. Always go. You don't opt out, Joe, of a $35.6 million final year unless you have a pretty good idea. You know where you're going, and you know how much you're getting it for.
I'd say New York could be another area that might work, but I just don't see a fit anywhere else but the Lakers. From his personality, from the stage, from the fact that you have we have two players on the team that are pass first types, even though they're really good at scoring. DeAndre Ayton would be a fool in my view, looking at it from an objective standpoint, not to go to LA, just to advertise himself that much more for next season.
Thank you, Rodney, for subscribing. Go ahead.
And I would prefer to get DFS back because we are still talking about a team that still needs its depth and still needs a defender. We don't want to lose a defender in this thing. We want to keep those guys, and the occasional 3-point barrage that he's been known to have. That's always a nice piece to have on a team that is likely going to probably find at least one more player should they find a center. And then at that point, you're going to have kind of what we wished we could have had last year and knew we couldn't get it really. Now you plug those two holes and you keep the continuity and you keep guys kind of hungry, guys like Rui, guys like Reeves, guys like DeAndre Ayton are going to play their rear ends off because they know what's coming next summer. And if you win, then you decide on how and who and what you want to keep. I don't really think I'm tied to anybody really other than Luka at this point on this team. I'm just not tied to it because I think what's coming anyways in the next 2 to 3 years is going to be enough for us to be happy with how it ends up.
I know that, and before we get into the LeBron thing, because I want you to have plenty of time to gloat and also say the things over the course of the months that you had been saying about if LeBron made this decision. I still think that a lot of the scuttlebutt said, "Oh, the Lakers, if they just go ahead and sign a center, they're pretty much going to stay status quo for this year, and then just wait till LeBron exits, decides what he wants to do, or what he retire, stay with the Lakers for a much lower salary, or just move on and go ring chasing next summer." That they're going to just stay status quo for now. I still am on every bit of it that the Lakers should go ahead and utilize whatever assets they have left to go ahead and try and build more depth around Luka now for a run now, because if we get Ayton tomorrow, Joe, really, you don't want to waste these opportunities. And again, I just don't think in the playoffs, it's a great fit for Austin with this team. You can make some tweaks, you can make some changes that will really help out and really balance things. A lot of the criticisms that our fans and our crew make, as far as we all make in regards to the Lakers, a lot of those can be alleviated with the right trade, and the right trade may fall upon Rui or Reeves before you lose them, possibly for nothing next summer.
If you're going to trade Rui and you're going to trade Austin, my only ask is to get a better player back. If they're not better players, then it's a lateral move, and it actually creates a worse situation because now you have to play with guys you haven't been playing with for the last few years. I'm not attached to anyone on this team other than Luka, and I'm not even.
Yeah,
to say you're attached to Luka is common sense. I'm not. That's a common sense thing. Luka is going to be here for the foreseeable future. He's going to sign an extension. I don't know which one he's going to sign. Is he going to sign the 4-year and just not deal with anything, or is he going to do a 2+1 and then in 2 years really sign the 5-year mega max that he can sign? That's going to be something that he has to make a decision on. Now, if I was his agent and if I was Luka, I would do a 2+1, bet on myself for a couple of years, and then sign the 5-year deal in a couple of years. But that's me. Luka's the only mainstay here. As far as LeBron is concerned, LeBron, I had no doubt he was going to pick up his contract. And I had very little concern that the Lakers were going to give him a 1+1, even before I found out about Mark Walter coming in and doing what he did. And then when I found out Mark Walter was involved, I said, it's 100% he's not going to get a 1+1. LeBron James, much like Austin Reeves and hopefully DeAndre Ayton, should he arrive, has to prove something this year if he wants to play beyond 2026. My interest in the LeBron thing is LeBron going to say this is his last year? That's kind of what I'm waiting on next. That's what I'm waiting on. We talked about this. I said LeBron James, and I'm not just throwing this on LeBron. Every great player is an egotistical maniac. That's not the issue. Every great athlete is self-absorbed. But LeBron James, and I've been watching sports for a very long time, is number one in that department. He will want the charade. He will want the flowers, the candy, and all the adulation. If he doesn't say that he's playing his last season anytime now or during the season, then I would be in shock if he retires at the end of 2026. Now, the only thing I'm saying is if the Lakers don't perform well again and get bounced in the first or second round, then I don't give a shit what he does after that. He's got to go. It's time to turn the page. And in that instance, if he doesn't say anything during the year, my guess is he's going to give it another shot somewhere else for whatever reason. I guess. I think. But I had no. I was very aware with what the setup is. This is his last obligation. This is the last obligation the Lakers have at this moment, now that he's opted in. They don't have to do anything for LeBron after the 2026 season. They can start focusing on truly rebuilding. They can't really rebuild right now, G, unless they get some kind of trade for Austin or Rui or something for a guy that would be like, oh, wow, that is a perfect player for Luka for the future. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that would be. Would it be?
But again, for me, it's about the assets. And the fact is, I don't, one of my biggest pet peeves when I watch the NBA is, or sports in general, Shohei Ohtani, as we always talk about. I do not like losing an asset for nothing or next to nothing. Like if Mike Trout got traded tomorrow from the Angels, he would get pennies on the dollar to what you could have done had you traded him 5-6 years ago. Same thing with Ohtani. You lost him literally for nothing. Alex Caruso, you lost him for nothing. You took THT instead. There's the possibility. It is a possibility, just a possibility that Rui Hachimura, if he plays out his career, he'll be an unrestricted free agent. And same thing with Austin Reeves. Yet he'll play out his next year. He'll opt out of his player option and he'll become a free agent next summer when an abundant amount of teams will have an abundant amount of cap space. And, you know, you and I both said we would not pay him more than $30 million. Guess what? That's probably what they're targeting or what they're going to be asking for this time next year. If Naz Reid can get 25, if what we saw from Jalen Smith today for 5 for 122, if we saw the James Harden 2 for 81 that's out there, these numbers are still eye-popping, Joe. So next year, especially when all these teams will have cap space, I'm just concerned, again, if you lose both of those guys for nothing, no matter where you end up the next season, if you lose both those guys are up for nothing and don't get assets in return, it really takes you back a little bit farther, no matter how much cap space you have next summer.
It just depends on the return. Who's going to bend over backwards for Rui and Reeves? And is Rob Pelinka capable of turning Rui and Austin Reeves into better players on the return? You look at it's a different circumstance at this point or going into next year. If you let these guys go, your salary obligations are very low. And this is the LA Lakers. This is not Portland or the Washington Wizards. You will have people coming to play in LA. Not worried about that. As far as your Ohtani comparison, I ended up finding out a few months back that they had a deal that they could have made that would have landed them Jackson Merrill. The Angels. They could have gotten Jackson Merrill and sent Ohtani to the Padres. I don't know how that would have played out for Ohtani. I don't know if he would have still left to play in LA. But Jackson Merrill could have been a difference maker for the Angels. Why they didn't do it? I'm going to take a guess that the Padres probably found out that Ohtani wouldn't stay in San Diego. Otherwise, I find it very hard to believe that Jackson Merrill wouldn't have been something they would have traded him for. Or maybe they didn't know who the hell Jackson Merrill was, which wouldn't surprise me either, because I don't know what they do in Anaheim. I really don't. I don't know who their scouts are, which is sad, too, considering they actually are not playing that bad. And I don't know what the hell's going on with Ron Washington, but he was eating chicken wings today and hanging out. I'm like,
yeah, he supposedly has health issues that are going to preclude him from being
health issues. He's had stories about
75 years old.
Yeah, he's had stories about an interesting lifestyle that he's lived in the past. So I don't know if that creeped up. But anyways,
well, let let me go ahead and get Cleotis in here. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hey guys, what would the starting lineup look like if we did get DeAndre Ayton? Let's just say we don't do any trades to keep it easier for you, Joe. What would that starting lineup look like?
Are we bringing back DFS at the moment?
My guess is no. My guess
No?
is if you're gonna, because that's what in the chat. Can they do both? They can do both, but it's most likely that when DFS, you would have. Let's just put it this way: if DFS opted out and you didn't see Shams tweeting that the Lakers have already gotten a deal already arranged from him, the only thing he mentioned about the Lakers, there's a possibility he can come back to the Lakers. It sounds like DFS has already got something in place somewhere else. But if it doesn't work out in any last minute negotiations, he could always come back for the Lakers, Joe. So let's just say DFS is not coming back. What would your starting lineup be? He wouldn't be in the starting lineup anyways. Or would he?
I'm going to say Ayton, Rui, Austin, LeBron, and Luka. That would be the starting five. Now, one of those guys needs to not be playing in the starting lineup, and that is Austin Reeves. So they would have to acquire a shooting guard that is a little more athletic, someone that shoots better, and that on occasion can get to the rim. And then put Austin at the six. But we all know that's going to be a problem because Austin wants to market himself in his last season, correct?
Yes. And I believe the Lakers do get an extra first rounder here in this upcoming week when the new financial year comes about, I believe. So
Carter, I don't know why you want me to roast LeBron. This was not a surprise. And
this is what he's been asking for months.
My concern was a 1+1. A little bit as time
which is what I thought he was
going to
do just to piss off Joe.
As time went on, I started reading the tea leaves a little bit better. I noticed that Jeannie was talking so highly of LeBron. I'm like, she's buttering him up. And that's what happens in the manipulation game. When you start hearing a lot more compliments. So I'll give you an example. When I go into a meeting and somebody doesn't know who the fuck I am and starts telling me how great I am, that's the first signal that these guys are full of shit. You don't know who the fuck I am. Why are you telling me I'm so good at things? You don't know who the hell I am. How do you know I'm not a psycho? How do you know? Oh, you saw a couple things here and there? No. My antennas go up when I hear bullshit. And usually one of the biggest bullshit detectors is high compliments. What was our last comment? LeBron is a bargain because he sells so many jerseys. What the hell does that have to do with anything? What about winning? What about winning playoff series? How about that? Does that matter? So,
I know Reeves. Again, I just want to say this because Reeves has been talked about in our chat. Joe and I think, in a perfect world, Reeves and Rui would be great as your 6th, 7th men coming off the bench. But Reeves, he was an undrafted guard for a reason, Joe. It's not an issue of how strong he is. Obviously, that can help if he gets stronger. I know that was mentioned in the chat, but he just doesn't have the foot quickness and athleticism on the defensive end to go ahead and really, really stop guards consistently in a playoff setting. The only time he did, Joe, was against, of course, against Denver a year ago. The problem was his offense. He worked so hard on the defensive end to really get Murray, to have Murray struggled against Reeves in that playoff series. Yes, he hit the 2 clutch shots, but if you take a look at the stats, he really struggled against Reeves. But the problem is Reeves was working so hard on that defensive end. He was terrible on the offensive end. He just can't. It's just so much harder for him to do those things that are needed on the defensive end because it will suck all the life out of his offensive end in place of it, Joe.
Let's put this in perspective a little bit and a little bit of a comparison of someone we know. Who was the third best player on Oklahoma City this year? The third best player, or you can say the third most valuable player to the team. And you can mix in Chet Holmgren as the 2, Jalen Williams as the 2. Doesn't matter. Who's the third? I believe it was Alex Caruso. And I think a lot of people would agree. Correct?
Sports Baby saying it's Chet, but
well, I said Chet is either going to be 2 or Jalen Williams is going to be 2. Who's the third?
Caruso, from everything, all the intangibles he brings, his savvy play, his experience.
Correct.
That was, they don't get to where they got, Joe, without Alex Caruso.
Right. Now, you know how many games he started during the regular season? He played 54 regular season games. 3.
Yeah.
So, I think Manu Ginobili taught a lot of people what really matters in the end. Lamar Odom, after that, taught a lot of people what that 6th position means. Caruso is a 6th starter. Lamar Odom was a 6th starter. Manu Ginobili was the first that I can remember 6th starter. Detlef Schrempf was great. All those guys that won 6 men the year before, but they were legit 6 men because that's how the NBA was at the time. I'm talking about post Manu Ginobili. They were the 6th starters, and every single one of those 3 are champions because of it. Champions more than once because of it. So if Austin Reeves, and by the way, he got paid, by the way, too. Didn't he get extended? Didn't Caruso get extended this year, right?
Yes, he did.
If Austin Reeves,
they didn't even waste time on it, Joe. They just did it during the season.
Exactly. If Austin Reeves wants to really showcase who he is at its highest level, that shouldn't be a detriment to come off the bench and be a 6th starter. Because if he comes off the bench as a 6th man and the Lakers are able to acquire a faster, more athletic, better shooting 2 somehow, I don't know, still seeing how this all plays out, that's going to allow him now to not have as much pressure in the playoffs. He's going to perform better because he'll be playing against the second units during these times instead of the first units where all the freakish athletes are. And this shouldn't be something that I should be saying in my office on some podcast. This is something that JJ Redick, Rob Pelinka, and the Lakers organization should be saying. If some schmuck like me, who isn't in the NBA doing this for a living, is saying this, you people who have been in this should be saying this, right? What does Empire Jeff always say about the couch guys? I ain't sitting on a couch right now. I'm telling you what's up, right? Does it make sense? I think it makes sense. I gave you some good comparisons. I've told you about the results of what those guys did and how that turned out. Not one championship. That turned out multiple championships. And that's what is at stake when you become an unselfish player who's playing well. Because he will get paid. You will get paid because those guys all got paid too. Don't think you wouldn't. Now, if you want to if you think the Washington Wizards are going to pay you $45 million a year as a free agent next year, okay, fine. You want to go to Washington and lose 55 games a year for the rest of your career and make your 40 because they want to spend that money on you? Okay, yeah, that's fine. But I have a very hard, I just cannot understand, I can't register that someone's going to offer him a $40 to $45 million a year contract. I can't see it. Not right now. But the Lakers have to start thinking about what they need to do to make sure they can compete for a title this year with what they have. They can't worry about the impending free agents of Rui and Austin Reeves. They are not that kind of player. This is not waiting on Luka to sign or LeBron in his prime to sign or Kobe to sign. I'm sorry. I don't worry about guys that are good players when it comes to that. You overpay guys like Rui and guys like Austin Reeves. You know what the equivalent of that is, Gerald? Paying Dak Prescott the most money in the NFL. Paying Kirk Cousins $40 to $50 million a year.
Yeah.
You're never going to win with those guys. And you're overpaying them on top of it because that's why. You can't. That money should be reserved for the Patrick Mahomes, the Tom Brady's in their prime, the Mannings in their prime, the Josh Allens in their prime. Otherwise, you're handicapping your team before you even start.
Carter, Reeves isn't leaving for nothing yet. He won't be a free agent till next summer. So Lakers have this summer and then also up to the trade deadline to trade him. The thing is, though, as it gets closer to the trade deadline, since you know he's on a most likely an expiring contract because he will opt out at this rate. If he's healthy and he gets another 25-5 season, he'll most likely opt out of the final year on his contract to become a free agent next summer. But even if you get closer to the trade deadline, yeah, you could still go ahead and trade him. The thing is, you get less on the dollar that you could get if you traded him for assets right now. That's my opinion. And I think, again, if you need to improve your depth, which is one of the areas of need for this team, yes, we do need a center. Yes, we do need more athleticism along the wing. Yes, we do need a little bit more shooting, but we do also need depth on our roster, which, again, with the right GM in place and the right decision-making there, we can get that depth if we decide to go ahead and move Rui and or Austin Reeves. So we'll have to wait and see how this plays itself out. I'm not sure the Lakers will go ahead and make those trades because, again, seemingly from what all these analysts are talking about, that they seem quite content and just building along the fringes, or if DeAndre Ayton becomes since he's going to become a free agent here in just a matter of hours, possibility of him going to the Lakers, which is obvious. Again, you don't opt out of a $35.6 million contract for him in the last year of his contract, and even DFS a $15.4 million option, unless you already know pretty much, Joe, where you're going to go.
I agree with that. I really do. And
even though you're not supposed to, Joe, we know better. Yep.
Lakers, I'm sure, are still maybe in conversation for Kessler.
And by the way, Ayton has to clear waivers. It takes 48 hours. He'll clear waivers on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, FYI. Just so that everybody knows.
But we all know that Danny Ainge is probably asking for more than what the Lakers want to offer.
Oh, yeah.
And DeAndre Ayton becomes the easier pickup because you don't have to give up any assets. So it's going to be a good week in terms of finding out what's next, right? That's what Tuesday is for. As far as trading Reeves for someone out there, I don't believe Orlando is going to trade Franz for Reeves. That's a backwards move for them. They don't really have that kind of player there, that can do what Franz does. That's kind of what him and
they're going all in, Joe. But the Desmond Bane move, they're going all in.
Desmond Bane is the best shooter they have in terms of shooting. I wouldn't, at this point, if that's the case, I wouldn't touch anything on that roster, especially with the way the East is folding out now. Indiana's going to be missing their number one guy. The Celtics are going to be missing their number one guy. Cleveland is Cleveland. You never know what the hell they're going to do. So Orlando might have an opening here where they could at least get to a conference finals. I don't trust Philly. And New York. New York probably needs one more guy too at this point, but I don't know what they can get to be that guy. They don't even know who the hell their coach is. So Orlando got Desmond Bane. They got the best shooter they could have got at this point, they just need to stay healthy and put their heads down and finally get to going where they got to go.
So Intel Wild, and thank you again for the super chat. Truly appreciate it. He says he wants Reeves, Gabe, and Kleber, Maxi Kleber. Gabe, those guys have expiring contracts, so they'll be free agents next summer. He wants a package with those guys traded. He says that's $35.5 million to go ahead and find us a great player or players. I've floated around as far as improving your depth or improving situations or areas of need. While Trey Murphy would be the best place I'd go to if I was going ahead and knocking on the door of New Orleans per se, Joe, because we've talked about how bad that organization has been run, especially in recent times. If you hear everybody and how we all think that New Orleans really mishandled the draft with Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver, I would go ahead and hit them up and see if they would be interested in moving Herb Jones, Yves Missy, and also as well Jose Alvarado. That's a package that could fit for what we see there. I think you do get nominally better. Your defense on the perimeter gets substantially better, and you have a backup center for hopefully an arriving DeAndre Ayton. And they're all young.
I guess the question I have for you is, why would New Orleans do that trade?
If they want Reeves, why did they want Jordan Poole? When they drafted Jeremiah Fears.
I think they're going to want to. I think if anything, they'd want to maybe trade
DeJounte Murray, who's got an ACL.
I think there are two players that are intriguing that are out there that would be better than Reeves and could be a possibility. One is, I think, DeJounte Murray in New Orleans. There could be something there where they could send Reeves to New Orleans for him with a package. The other is Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be going into the last years of his contract, and he's had an injury issue almost most of his career. But my God, if that guy is right, putting him next to Luka and LeBron, and if you do get a legit center, that could be an interesting team. But I don't think that Denver's going to make a deal like that.
He is due in the mid-30s, just to let you know. 38. He's got 38 and a 40 left on his contract before he becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2027.
Mm-hmm.
Just to let you know. But yeah,
falls right in line with my off season to watch, which is the 2027 off season.
Mm-hmm.
You put yourself in a position where you've obviously gotten a better player than Austin, someone who can shoot, someone who has size, and someone who's been a champion. And you don't have to worry about a long-term contract if he ends up being more injury riddled, whatever. But if he's right when it matters, he eliminates, he helps so much in the ability to keep LeBron off the floor the majority of the year. You have a DeAndre Ayton that can score. You have someone like a Porter Jr. that can score. Now LeBron isn't taxing himself, because I'm trying to figure out a way to assemble a roster that's going to allow LeBron to not play more than 32 minutes a game.
Uh-huh.
You have to have guys that can score.
PJ Washington, yeah, it's a good thought, Lion. He is not going to get a lot of minutes playing behind that front line, or through injury, maybe he'll get some minutes. But yeah, right now, as the backup in Dallas, that could be something to look at. But will Dallas be doing a deal anytime soon with the Lakers after the PR fallout? Now it's to many, it's now water under the bridge because they got Cooper Flag. So maybe that will maybe that will open up more things as far as the Lakers being able to trade with Dallas, because I know that a guy like Austin Reeves would be something that they could go ahead and be interested in Dallas as far as it's concerned. So Ralph, I need to. Oh, you can talk to Ralph. Yeah, I know PJ Washington. As far as his contract is concerned, I mean, again, I know he signed a contract. I believe was it shortly before he was traded. but I would go ahead and look. But yes, he is someone that can be moved if you're interested in him. But he's not going to get a whole lot of time. It's a guy around $14 million next season before he becomes an unrestricted free agent next summer. So that's right in line. You could do a PJ for Austin Reeves swap. Does that interest you at all, Joe?
You're telling me that Dallas is going to trade PJ Washington for Austin?
I'm just saying because they have similar contracts, but that was what the chat was asking for.
I don't think there's going to be another trade with Dallas.
Okay. I didn't think so because of just PR reasons alone. But Izzy, absolutely. They do need a 3-and-D guy with athleticism along the wing. Twillitson says, honestly, I think of Ayton like Hibbert. Slow. No, I don't think he's Hibbert slow, Twillitson. He wasn't the number one draft choice for nothing. I just think a lot of it has been motivation, and it's led to his inconsistent play in recent years, Joe, which again has turned off a lot of people, and rightly so. I'm not going to say I disagree with the people out there in the chat that are kind of cool on the thought of getting DeAndre Ayton. It's what he brings potentially on the other end on those good days if he were to be able to put them together more often.
This is not a pick and choose, guys. This is about taking advantage of.
I've got another one that Sean and Jay's Plays Days put in there as well. So, because I did talk to Sean earlier, Magic Man, and he was suggesting that this may open up a window for Nickeil Alexander-Walker as a possibility for the Lakers as well.
Well, I think that's been a possibility from the beginning because he's on the trajectory of getting better. And if you can get him at the right time, get him on a friendly signing, then at that point you let him develop with Luka, and now you could have the player of the future with him.
And he seemingly looks like the 1/3 of that triumvirate in Minnesota that may not be re-signed.
And that was surprising. I did not expect Randall to be signed. I thought for sure they would pick one or the other. I had no idea that they would. I had no idea they were going to pick both Nas and Randall. However, they're going all in. Or they have a plan to trade Gobert, maybe that we don't know about. I don't know. No, I haven't heard anything. I'm just saying maybe that's one of their plans. That could be one of their plans to lessen the luxury tax hit. But new ownership of Minnesota seems to be focused on possibly going all the way next year to winning it all. And good for them. Surprised, but good. Play to win, baby. What else? You can't take it with you.
No, you can't. Someone says Hawks report saying they're going to offer him a little bit more than the MLE. As far as for that'd be a pickup for Hawks. Hawks have really had a good offseason so far.
As far as who would they pick up?
Nah.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, not Ayton, because they just got Porzingis.
Yeah.
They've really had a good offseason. Very under the radar offseason. But does not take away time, or can you put him at small forward? But then you got Risache there because Daniels did such a great job last season, and they got Jalen Johnson. That's a possibility because I think Na would want to start at this point in his career.
And in my view, if the Lakers were able to acquire him, if they were able to acquire Alexander Walker, he's
probably got to guarantee the start.
He's a 6'5" shooting guard who can do what we said this team needs, which would be perfect for Reeves to come off the bench at that point. I'm
Reeves
building.
Would be unhappy.
I couldn't give two shits about Reeves being happy or not. This is about winning championships. If he's worried about not starting so that he can get his money, then you have to trade him. And then just get something that's even at that point. Just so you don't have that headache.
I'm just telling you, Joe. You and I both know this. We're not, these agents, they're always in the head of the players players sometimes don't see the forest in
saying
the
that Brad
trees.
Stevens is owning Rob Pelinka is like saying Tom Brady in his prime is owning Kirk Cousins. I mean, come on, that's just nuts.
Not even a question.
You're comparing platinum jewelry to cubic zirconium. Come on, that's basic.
We know Brad Stevens is. I mean,
But again, I want to bring good vibes here, folks.
Yeah.
These days of worrying about ownership of Genie and Rob and the whole whatever, it's on its way out, guys. Don't worry, relax, enjoy what's coming. It's coming. Trust me, I've seen it already happen, and it's gonna happen. You won't have to worry about this stuff anymore. Matter of fact, don't be surprised if new ownership calls up Brad Stevens and says, "Hey, man, you really want to stay in the cold Northeast? Why don't you come on the West? We'll double your pay."
Yes, we did see the reports that LeBron's wife is wanting him to retire next year.
There's a report on that.
Possibility. Yeah, there's several reports on that. There's a conversation that was taped or whatnot that Savannah has said that she wants him to and retire after next season. Although, again,
Why?
maybe having him around, when guys are around the house for too long, maybe that's not the best thing in mind. But we will have to see how that works out. But again,
shit,
it's out there. And here today, good man indeed. We did talk about him earlier. It is the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to
like
stop
a damn
on
Jack
by.
in a Box.
Oh, jeez. Here he is again. Here we go. It is, of course, my good friend, Mr. Magic Man, Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here. You've heard the news in regards to LeBron opting in, DFS opting out, DeAndre Ayton finalizing a buyout. I did mention that you and I had spoke, and you suggested that this clears the way as for a bigger possibility. But with DeAndre Ayton opting out of a $35.6 million final year option, kind of seems like you would have a destination already in mind, Sean.
Am I mute?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
You're good to go.
Right. First of all, have either of you gentlemen ever gone to like a rib fest, meat fest, steak fest? A chance?
No, not gone to a steak fest. Shrimp fest, lobster fest. Steak, I have not. I usually don't get whatever size I get. That's usually what I eat. I don't.
Joe?
That's like when it goes to a steak fest, it's like one of those eating challenges.
Okay.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't do that.
So I went to my first one 8 hours ago. Gerald, have you ever
sweats?
Yes, badly. Badly. They creep up on you They creep up on you. Joe, you ever get the meat sweats?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No,
when you eat too many ribs or any, I do that when I eat too many ribs.
I'd say if I ever got any meat sweats, it was actually crab sweats.
Okay, so you have I
can have a lot of crab,
like the salt sweats, like
because you're breaking that shit. You're breaking it right, and for like what feels like an hour, and then you get full, and you're like, you're tired from breaking and eating it. So yeah, I'd say that's happened, but with crab, not with steak.
Okay, all right. I had my fill today. Anyway, yeah, this could pave the way for something bigger, Gerald. Like really, I mean, if somebody else wants to sign DFS to a long-term deal, have at it, because that just opens up more possibilities for Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Now you can afford somebody like that, Gerald, and you can make him a competitive.
And he probably has already a deal, and he probably already has a deal in place similar to what DeAndre Ayton may have already in place. Intel Wild says Miles Turner has the face of Kwame Brown and the body of AD. No thanks for him.
And the fashion sense of
I don't think he has the body of AD. Definitely has the face of Kwame. That's a dead on.
and the fashion sense of Dame Edna. Look her up.
I would look out for Detroit clearing up some cap space and maybe trying to make that
Give
happen.
us Durant.
for Miles
I'll
Turner.
trade Austin for Durant.
Jalen Duren, absolutely.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Duran.
Duran.
Dayron Sharp.
Yeah, Duran.
Dayron Sharp. Okay.
Oh, we could get him as a free agent. He's a free agent now.
Okay, you meant Dayron Sharp. Okay, because I was like Darren.
He's a free agent. He's a good backup. He's definitely an upgrade.
He's an RFA, Magic Man. He's an RFA, restricted free agent.
Okay,
Him and Thomas are restricted free agents. Just to let you know, as of now, unless they've.
I doubt Brooklyn matches, but sure. Okay.
Dayron Sharp though is 6'9". I'm not in love with 6'9" backup centers.
I'm in love with the fact that he'd be an upgrade over Jackson Hayes, Gerald. 100%.
Okay, fair enough. As long as you're not paying for Nick Claxton and his terrible free throw shooting.
No, you're getting Dayron Sharp for backup minutes at the center, which is an upgrade over whatever Jackson Hayes gave you.
But I'm trying to put this as far as into perspective. You don't give up a $35.6 million deal unless you have something worked out, and you don't give up a $15.4 million deal unless you have something worked out. And had that already been mentioned by Shams Charania that the Lakers have already worked out a deal in place, you would have heard it. I mean, it's not there is a possibility he can always come back, but I have a feeling he's got other stuff worked out. And then with DeAndre Ayton, who will be available Wednesday.
I keep hearing Houston. I keep hearing Houston with DFS.
Houston for DFS, yes. He is a good rebounder. Yes, he is someone. I won't disparage that, but yeah, 6'9". You get those smaller centers. They just always are just.
Okay. 6'9" could go either way. I mean, the Manimal was like 6'9.5". He wasn't 6'10", but he could rebound, Gerald.
Okay.
Gerald,
again,
you know who else could rebound for his size? It's very strange, Gerald. Women and basketball players just pop into my head randomly. Remember the Chuck Wagon, Chuck Hayes? All of like 6'5", but there he was in the post against Andrew fucking Bynum and Ron Artest. Chuck Wagon Hayes. So, I mean, there are guys undersized who just can't crash the boards.
And I would be opposed to getting Kai Jones, Kai on a minimum contract because he did perform late for Dallas, I believe, as far as that's concerned. So I don't think that would be a bad get at all, especially with his size being a little bit better. But Dayron Sharp, again, if you can get him cheap as a 6'9" rebounder, you could see, there's worse out there. Again, with the trade Jameson, Coloco, you really guys are really trying to squint your eyes hard to seeing if these guys will make themselves out to being anything. But Joe, let's get back into the thick of things as far as free agency coming up tomorrow. Again, if the Lakers don't do anything right away, Joe, I think that's a telling sign that DeAndre Ayton may be coming to the Lakers on Wednesday.
Yeah. We solved the one big problem we have, and then at that point, you have a little bit less pressure to get that one spot at the 2 that you need that has some athleticism, and we got to get the Canadian man out of Minnesota. From Toronto.
There you go.
I can't do the Jersey Shore smile, but I want to.
Yes. So we're looking forward to what's going to go on with free agency starting tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. I will be here. Hopefully the guys will be here with me on this channel. So go ahead and catch it as we go through the first hour of free agency. That starts at 3. So hopefully we can go ahead and have an exciting time. Usually they're exciting. I don't think any Timothy Mozgovs are going to be out there for the Lakers this time around, or Luol Dangs. So I think that's at least a relief on that end. But Joe, let me bring it back to you. Once again, this is the Lakers Fast Break. Had a big crowd tonight, as many as 120 people. Truly appreciate you joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe to go ahead and get the latest notifications on when we go live with the latest Lakers Fast Break. So again, I understand you're very calm about the future of the Lakers once Mark Walter officially takes over the Lakers. But again, I still see an open window for this team. You see with DeAndre Ayton, if he goes to the Lakers, a possibility what this team can be and what this team can grow into if they make the right moves around the fringes, and a possibility that a championship season, if things break the right way, could be available now rather than later.
There's a lot of things that could put this team in a position to win. Number one is the fact that the NBA is officially in its parity phase. Any team can win. The championship team this year had to go through 2 game 7s to win a title after winning 68 games in the regular season. And we don't know what would have happened if Tyrese Halliburton had stayed healthy in game 7. For all we know, they might have lost. So that opens up the door. It opens up the door for the Lakers to need some luck with some good additions. And there's a lot of motivation for Luka, who looks in phenomenal shape from what I've seen. A lot of motivation for him to possibly be an MVP candidate or win an MVP this year. LeBron's motivation is going to be, let me go out a winner. That's going to be his motivation, maybe. I don't know what. As long as it revolves around LeBron looking good, LeBron's always going to be doing LeBron things, right? So you get somebody like DeAndre Ayton, another guy that's going to be very motivated to play well. You got the Austin Reeves and the Ruiz are going to play very well because they got their contract years. And then whoever you bring in, if it is a Alexander Walker. Sorry, I went blank for a second there. If you are going to bring somebody like an Alexander Walker, now you have a guy that's kind of going to be that guy that's probably going to start really doing better right at the right time with the right team. The focus is going to be on Luka and LeBron. He's going to have every opportunity to make some plays here. I like that he's a tall guard too. Tall guards are always beneficial. Tall guards that can be athletic are huge assets, especially for a team right now that doesn't have that. Keeping DFS or not keeping DFS is a 50-50. It would be nice to keep him, but I'm not going to cry in the corner if he doesn't come back. Whether Rob Pelinka can do one last thing here for the LeBron era is still up in the air. We have to wait for the next couple of days to see if he can do it. And I'll say I'm on the side of positivity because he had a pretty good end of the year there, getting a big one. So I'll throw him a bone and see if he can make it happen and put this thing together the right way so that maybe the Lakers can get number 18.
Also heard it. Good man indeed. It is the guy behind I Got Next Sports Media. It is, of course, Legend. Legend, great to have you here. Lion, you're trolling is subpar, my friend. You're just, these supposed man crushes that you have are just, You think we haven't had this before in the 5+ years we've been doing this? Yawn, indeed. But Legend, great to have you here. As a Atlanta and Golden State fan that you are, it's always good to get your perspective on things. Reason why is a certain individual center from Portland has organized a buyout of his last year of his final year of his contract. DeAndre Ayton, for again, $35.6 million he's freeing up, which is going to be very eye-opening to say the least. What do you think happens? Because there are a number of teams that are out there that want a center in place. Atlanta's not one of them. Atlanta maybe be interested in Nah, maybe interested in going in different other directions. But your thoughts on the possibility of Golden State, which needs a center just as much as the Lakers do, or any other team that needs a center, on the possibility of securing the rights on Wednesday when it becomes available to DeAndre Ayton?
I definitely do expect Golden State to be in the hunt. We do need we need a big man. We do. So I wouldn't be surprised to go after him. My only concern for Aiden with us would be, I think Joe already pointed out, is the Draymond part. I don't know how you gonna mesh with how Draymond is. Draymond is not an easy cat to deal with. So he would be a good fit. I would love to have him, but I just don't know how to work with Draymond. Now with the Lakers, I think he'd be perfect. You don't have to worry about nobody like Draymond on you left and right. My only concern, even with him going to LA, would be, is you gonna actually show up and play ball? Is the motor part gonna show up? Because I know what he did in Phoenix was a little concerning. He was 1 minute you show up, 1 minute you just out there. So that's the only part I'll be a little concerned about him at, is you gonna show up and do your thing. But knowing LeBron, you keep him on point, keep him going. He's gonna have a lot of suitors. And I probably think LA gonna probably be the number one person he end up going to. I think LA would be the best fit for him versus us in Golden State land. But I would love to have him though.
Absolutely. I know a lot of teams that need a center. Again, when his mind is right, Magic, and when he has the motivation, he can be, a 15 and 10, get you 2 blocks, get you the kind of things that you need from the center position that obviously Jackson Hayes couldn't. Lob threat, but he does have some offensive ability. I mean, he was the number 1 pick the year he came out in the Luka draft, mind you. So your thoughts on this? DeAndre Ayton is going to be now a free agent come Wednesday at 2 p.m. Where do you think he really heads out? I mean, Golden State, the Lakers, or somewhere else?
For him to have, the probably the best kind of prove it year, he would have to go to a team that is very, very high in the pick and roll, especially in the mid post, because that's where his bread and butter was with CP3 in that finals run, Gerald. They would just pick and roll you to death off the elbow, and DeAndre would either get a little shifty, swifty 2-foot layup or a nice lob. So you'd have to probably assess certain situations. Okay, so Lakers would be probably at the top of the list because of Luka. But Atlanta needs a veteran presence in the front court too, other than Clint Capella. And Capella was really expensive for his production. If Atlanta could get that kind of production from Ayton on like a veteran's minimum, he could take him to that semifinals, Eastern Conference Finals. I could see Trae Young riding him in the playoffs too. So those would probably be the top 2 teams he would be looking at. After that, I don't know, man. The West is kind of stacked with teams that have bigs, Gerald, that thrive off pick and roll. So he'd probably be looking more towards an Eastern Conference team outside of the Lakers and Hawks.
Really? So you think he might be looking towards I think he has already something in place. You don't give up $35 million unless you're pretty sure you know where you're going to go. Same thing with DFS. And the thing is, with all these other individuals that talked about in the recent days, Sean, before I get it to you, Joe, Shams clearly said if somebody was opting out of their contract, they had something already set in place. A lot of these guys have already said, re-sign for other contracts. They already said they had a deal. Like, for instance, when we had to talk about earlier today with the beard, James Harden, he opted out, got a 2-year 81. Usually Shams will attach that. Now, it said that the Lakers are still interested in getting him, but that's all that was left to it. So I'm really thinking that it's not 100% no that DFS is coming back. I just think it's leaning a little bit towards the wrong direction if you're a DFS fan for the Lakers right now, Sean.
Yes, Gerald, 100%. I would say so. If he signs with another team, that means that half the league has the NTMLE because the Lakers would have access to it. It's just a wait and see approach here, Gerald. My guess is, Gerald, if there was already a contract offer for DFS, my guess is Rob would have already made it before he had to uh, make his decision already before the deadline.
Mhm.
That being said, you never know. There could be a last minute thing, but so everyone's pointing to Houston. Houston really wants him. They like him off the bench. Him being a filter out there with Thompson and KD and Freddie V. Gerald. That's dangerous combination. He fits like a glove with that team. I just see a fit with Houston. So I would say, yeah, if you're a DFS fan with the Lakers, I would slowly try and learn to live with the ether that's about to happen because he's about to become something else, not a Laker.
So, Joe, question from Juan. If the Lakers do get DeAndre Ayton, sorry, legend, on their team instead of Golden State, do you think he will play Ayton? I think he'll have no choice because he's a talented center there. Now, crunch time, Joe, all bets are off, and anything can happen once it gets to the playoffs with JJ Redick. Joe, you're on mute. I got you. Go ahead right now. Well, there you go.
Touching the fucking thing. You're telling me he's going to bench DeAndre Ayton?
No, I think what he meant was like in crunch time. Like for instance, when it came down to the playoffs, do you go 5 out? Do you take Ayton out at certain periods? I think that's what he meant.
For who?
As a he was asking the question.
No, unless you, who the hell are you going to put in there? Shake Milton? Oh wait, let me guess. You're going to put LeBron James as the center during the playoffs. Let me tell you this: if JJ Redick does anything, if the Lakers don't have a legitimate,
what was that for, Sean?
You finished? Can I go now? If the Lakers are going to play small ball, which is what that is, you better have a small ball team. And they didn't have one last year. Now, I don't mind JJ Redick flying off the cuff a little bit here and there to make a run, like playing everybody in the second half. I wasn't upset. A lot of people were upset. I wasn't upset. What choice did you have? He took a chance. It didn't work. Okay. But you better assemble a team, should you get someone like DeAndre Ayton, to be able to play in the playoffs. DeAndre Ayton can score. DeAndre Ayton has talent. DeAndre Ayton is still young. DeAndre Ayton will have something to prove. It's your job as the coach, and it's your job as the players to make sure that you take advantage of his talents, because he's going to be a better center than anyone that you'd have in a very, very long time. Maybe you can get Brook Lopez to be the backup. You can use him in spurts.
I'll have to wait and see. Again, if that would be a pretty good combination, if that was the case, Joe, that you could utilize those two. Legend, though, you've got a lot of options for your teams as they go into free agency tomorrow. Also, as well, you're seeing stuff trending throughout the NBA. It's not going to be as...
I don't see JJ Redick, in my instincts, being the coach of the future. I'm going to say that now. And I say that
Agreed.
because new ownership wants their own people.
People.
So unless JJ absolutely knocks the socks out of this team. Oh, and by the way, Frank Vogel won a championship in 2020. He was out of a job in 2 years. So what does that really mean if they won it this year?
Budenholzer for Milwaukee.
Budenholzer is a stubborn old ass.
Mike
That's why-
Malone for the Nuggets.
Mike Malone, stubborn old ass. If you're going to be a stubborn old ass, you're going to find yourself being out at some point anyway.
Vogel wasn't stubborn. He just maybe on the offensive end, but he didn't have that vitriol or hate.
Vogel was too opie for LA, Gerald.
Pretty much.
That's what the problem was.
Too much of a nice guy.
Nothing was Opie when their defense was #1 for 2 years.
Exactly. Again, I hope they learned a lesson by it, but we'll see if JJ is that actual coach.
Yeah.
Masai, what
wanna
do you
make
think, Masai?
Gerald, UCLA didn't mind opie.
You want to play a violin too, Sean, while we're on the air too? Do you want to play the violin, or maybe
I
crack your
can't.
back
I
or your
do
neck?
not. I do not know how to play the violin.
Crack your neck
sir.
a little bit. Maybe we need more noise. How about breathe harder, like into the mic while somebody's
So-
talking?
so let me-
And I am a diabetic. Some of that can't be helped, asshole.
Masai, no, I'm sorry.
Is that your
Masai,
excuse for everything? Oh, I murdered somebody next door, but I'm diabetic.
It works a lot. It
There-
works a lot.
There are open GMs. There are GMs.
If I cut you
out there.
inappropriately, it's because I'm diabetic.
See, that's another level, right?
But
Gerald, I'm going to answer that question real quick since you mentioned it.
okay, and we'll get
I
to
have
you, Legend,
no doubt, because I've seen it already, that the Mark Walter ownership already knows what's next. They already have it planned. That's why I'm not worried, because I've already seen it. Now, it doesn't matter if the NBA structure is different than Major League Baseball. It's not about the structure of signing players because there's a cap. It's about the structure of the team, the leaders of the team, the general managers, the player personnel, the coaches. This is all going to be thoroughly handled. And that's a fact, because the facts have already been confirmed.
So, Legend, let me bring it over to you. What are some of the things, or what are some of the players that you think? Are we done, guys? Are we done? Can we let Legend?
What are you taking a selfie now?
Who are some of the players that you think that your teams or key free agents out there are being targeted once free agency starts at 2 p.m. 3 p.m. Pacific? The thing is, the reason why is it's not going to be as abundant or as active as next year is, but there are still some good players out there if you find them.
I definitely think a lot of people, I know he's kind of old, but he's still useful. I think Brook Lopez is going to be sought by a lot of people. At least people who need a decent center. So I think Brook Lopez is going to be one of the main people I'm expecting to probably see fly off the market. I definitely want to see what's going to happen with DFS if he's really going to look to leave. I think a lot of people are going to be salting after him. So you're going to see a lot of good, decent role players going to be probably looked at as well. But I think one of the biggest people on the market to me is going to definitely be what happened with Kessler, what happens with probably with our guy Kuminga. See what happened with him as well on the market. And I think they're probably I think it might be about it. It'll be more so like small players really getting moved around. I think the biggest moves has already happened with KD and all, unless something happened with Giannis.
What do you think the odds are of the Warriors retaining Jonathan Kuminga?
I'm gonna say 40%. There's a 40% chance.
Okay. What are the odds that they do a sign and trade instead?
I'm gonna say probably about 50%. About
Okay.
50.
Because that would make a lot more sense to me because he's an RFA. I'm still thinking that if Brooklyn has interest with him, I think a Nick Claxton for Jonathan Kuminga fit would probably be.
What's Utah cooking up right now, Gerald? They're cooking up something. Why?
They just
Why?
trade.
Why you acquiring Nurkic? You're cooking up
Yes,
something.
that's right, because they did it earlier today. Colin Sexton
Mm-hmm.
going out to Charlotte. What is going on there? Because Nurkic, well, they're both have expiring salaries, Sean. Between
Yeah, but Gerald, you've got Collins, you've got Deshibwe, you've got Filipowski, you've got Markkanen, you've got Walker Kessler. You've got 6 guys who could legitimately play the center or power forward position for
to
Utah.
Phoenix, actually, that wouldn't be enough, Sean. You need 3 more at the same position. But I get what you're saying. So that's a good question. We'll bring it over to Joe. With the trade today, again, Nurkic, the much traveled Nurkic, since he left Portland, going to Utah. These are quite an interesting situation. I mean, Collins has resigned, or excuse me, he has, I believe, held on to
Opted
the
in.
option.
Yeah,
he
he opted in.
Yeah, he opted in. So he's most likely not. Well, he could be going somewhere. He could be traded. Your thoughts, though, Collins or most likely Kessler? Does this mean that there's a lot of interested parties in Walker Kessler, Joe?
Yeah, his talent and his contract, and he's going to be his budding talent. I mean, you're not going to be able to get him for a better price than right now. This guy could end up being a $30-40 million a year player down the road. And that might play a factor in the Lakers not maybe signing or wanting to aggressively go get him too. Do you want to pay a center 30 to 40 million? Get stuck like Sacramento with Sabonis?
Because he is looking for, Ayton is looking for a multi-year deal.
It's nice to have choices. So let's see which one plays out first. If you're able to get Kessler, and then you don't have to worry about the motor issues. You don't have to worry about the attitude issues. You have a young center on the come up, and is going to play much better with Luka anyways and LeBron. If not, if Ainge wants too much in return, then just go get DeAndre Ayton if he wants to come here, and then try to get maybe a good backup center like Brook Lopez. I just posted that Shams has already said that the Lakers right now are viable options for Capella, Horford, although I think Horford's going to stay in Boston. Clint Capella as a backup is actually not a bad deal if you can't get Brook Lopez. And then, of course, DeAndre Ayton, I think, would be ideal for the price that you're going to be getting him for 1 year.
But it's interesting, though, Sean, because, with the acquisition of Nurkic and the fact that the calendar year is coming up soon. So, as I said, I believe the Lakers pick up another first-round choice to utilize in a trade up here in a few days. Golden State legend picks up a third first-rounder coming up in the next few days, plus the different money schemes as far as the contracts.
And Gerald, I think you need to look at the money as well here. Ryan Smith is willing to outspend anybody in the NBA as well. He's shown that already with his hockey team, the Utah Mammoth. So anybody who thinks they can outspend Ryan Smith, being delusional here, man, because he's shown himself he's willing to throw as much coin around as anybody.
Intel Wild back with another super chat. Truly appreciate it. I don't know if this would piss off Joe or not, but he is having some legal troubles. Before I get into you, Legend, just saw a possible deal. We dedicated a show to this earlier this month on Zion Williamson and a possible deal that he could be headed somewhere. Rui Dalton-Reeves for Zion. According to the trade machine, it works.
Got to throw in Trey Murphy or Herb Jones.
I would do Herb Jones because Herb Jones is substantially cheaper. Trey Murphy's got that.
Gerald, Trey Murphy beside.
Oh, yeah, Trey Murphy would be great.
Come on, man, Trey Murphy beside Luka.
Oh, that would be killer. That's on. He's a star in the making with the right surroundings for there. But Joe, your thoughts on what Intel Wild was saying about going for Zion? I know you've said it before. We dedicated a show to him, but might want to say, what if Rui, Dalton, and Reeves were on the table for Zion?
What is no, Alex? Zion is as useful as Ben Simmons.
Ooh, I don't know if I'd go there. I don't know if I'd go there.
They're both done. They're both done.
He's definitely more efficient than Ben Simmons. That's
both-
as far as I go.
They're both
He-
fried.
When he's healthy.
They're both fried okra.
Uh,
I've never had fried okra, so I don't know.
I have- it's good. It's good, Magic Man.
Pretty good. Pretty
Okay.
good.
The Lakers are in no position to solve the Luka health crisis to now go and deal with another one. And not only that, but also have to deal with the fact that they have to worry about this guy banging porn stars instead of banging boards. I'm not dealing with this. No, absolutely not. Keep that guy away from the Lakers.
And going to court over it too.
Yeah, no. This is at the end of the day, it's still Jeannie's still the owner of this, or the governor of this team, and I would be in shock if a woman governor is going to bring in a guy that's being accused of malicious, alleged things. But more than that, because I do know that there's some weirdos out there that do things. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm not saying it is true, but the Lakers have enough drama with LeBron. We don't need another one. We need calm. We need focus on winning a championship. This last year with LeBron, maybe LeBron goes out a winner. That puts a stamp on the LeBron brand, doesn't it?
Yep. That it does.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong, Magic.
What do you mean? What am I drinking, Lloyd? Dave?
Legend, I want to get into this, and again, Magic, interrupt me.
Interrupt me again.
Interrupt me if I'm doing something incorrect. A few years ago, Malik Beasley, I believe, he had a. Was it? No, it was Bridges. It was Bridges, not Malik Beasley. I thought I've got my sharpshooters messed up there for a second, because Malik Beasley is going to have some issues here, and it's conveniently tied to when he is a free agent starting tomorrow. He was one of the most coveted free agents, Legend, going into free agency, but a conveniently timed Magic Man and Legend and Joe, conveniently timed federal investigation into gambling.
FBI.
Yes.
FBI.
As far as it's concerned. So your thoughts on this? His career is in a little bit of doubt right now. We've seen other players get banned from the league, as far as when they've gone a little bit overboard on the gambling issues.
They've got him dead to right.
Yeah.
They've got him dead to right. There was a game in which Malik Beasley was on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were playing the LA Clippers. Ivica Zubac is at the free throw line. He hits the second free throw, Gerald. It's 119-110 for the Los Angeles Clippers. The spread on the game is 8.5. The Clippers are up 9 with 5 seconds left. The ball gets inbound. Beasley darts. I mean darts. Coast to coast for a layup. There's 0.4 seconds left. Clippers win 119-112. Better get the spread covered. It's pretty obvious, Gerald. That's the Blue Chips moment. That's when. Do you remember that scene in Blue Chips, Gerald?
Mm-hmm.
He races over and asks Tony, "Did you?" And Tony admits it, Gerald. Tony admits it. I think, Gerald, a lot of this has gone on, and you know what? I don't know how to explain it other than the fact that this guy has gone from hot to cold like I've never seen in the NBA, Gerald, especially with the Detroit Pistons.
But
And
Beasley had the firearms. He had the firearms. I was incorrect. He had the firearms issue as opposed to the domesticated violence issue. So that was what I knew he had some sort of legal trouble. I forgot what it was, but it was firearms issue. So,
Well, I mean, Gerald, if you had told me 2 years ago, yeah, Sean, your boy Young Thug is going to end up in prison for the rest of his life in Atlanta. And Malik Beasley is going to make over $100 million as a free agent. I would have said, nope. And now it's the other way around. Because it looks like Malik Beasley's dead to right with the FBI, Gerald. And we've heard Nick Molina before talk about the feds. The feds win about 95% of these cases.
So Legend, couldn't come at a more
they've done
convenient
studies.
time.
They win 60% of the time. Every time.
You see that Scott Steiner math there. That's got to be one of the best promos of all time, and I'm just gonna say it out there. But his nephew is just that guy. That guy's a beast. But Legend, let me tell you this Malik Beasley news couldn't come at a worse time for him and the league, because he would have been one of the most viably attractive free agents out there this summer.
Well,
He had resurrected his career in Detroit.
Man, you just cost yourself a lot of money. Just Michael Porter Jr. brother all over again, basically.
Yes.
Probably gonna be out the league.
Yep.
I'm gonna detail this a little bit more on the experiment tonight.
About 18 minutes.
18 minutes,
right?
because this is now. Not a lot of people knew who Michael Porter Jr.'s brother was, and there's been other guys that have been suspended for life that I still need to remember their names. But Malik Beasley's starting to creep up into those names that we actually do know.
I got it right here, Gerald.
Sports leagues. You're starting to play with fire.
Here, Gerald, I'll try and get a better picture. Here we go.
Is that the Hunger Games?
I have no idea. Here we go.
That was Batum.
Yep,
right?
Batum hits a free throw.
And he's also a free agent, by the way, everyone out there.
Whoa.
So, it looks like in a meaningless game, Beasley goes coast to coast for a point spread, Gerald.
Yep.
That's the only other way to explain it. There's nothing in his. If you look back, there's nothing in his contract that stipulates that if he got two extra points in the game against the Clippers, it would be a bonus or something. There's no language like that. So this is really bad for everybody, Gerald. Everybody.
Intel Wild's asking any way we can get Kessler and Ayton both. I think you just got to be resting your laurels on getting one or the other. And I would prefer Kessler over Ayton, but both at this point in time, you just get one or the other, right? Right, guys. At this point, just be happy with getting one or the other, and I think that's.
I mean, if you want to, if they want if they say you need to take Collins, but you gotta take if you want Kessler, you gotta take Collins too. I mean, Gerald, you really have to
one of the expiring
in there. Yeah, exactly. Or you want to throw Oscar Tshiebwe away, Gerald too. One of those. That guy can rebound. So
but that's all I can do is just rebound.
But still, we need rebounding, Gerald.
Yes,
we desperately, Gerald. Beggars cannot be choosers. I know.
We're one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA. Absolutely, beggars can't be choosers. Legend, which we always talk again about Kessler. We're talking about Ayton. We're talking about Lopez. You guys have similar needs in Golden State. How heavy is the talk for Walker Kessler? Because again, this Nurkic deal kind of raises an eyebrow on what might be going on in Utah. Just a little bit of an eyebrow.
As soon as I saw him early today got traded, I'm like, you must be doing something over there. We need a center badly. If I go on my X account right now, go all the way down to all the other Golden State fans, that's all I'm seeing. Get us a damn center. We're begging you at this point. Please get us a center. We are on our knees asking Santa Claus to give us a center at this point. That's what we need. We do not want Draymond at the 5 trying to do it by himself. Get us a real center. That's how badly we really needed it. At this point, I'm like Sean at this scene at this point. Hey, I'll take what I can get. Bears can't be choosers. Just give me something, man, to work with. Something. Get me through the season. I can see can I do better next offseason. Just give me something. It's better than going back to the training camp with them and just be like,
absolutely. So teams are going to hopefully be loading up a little bit starting tomorrow. 3 p.m. is the time when free agency starts. I'll be here at 2:30 p.m. Hopefully some of you guys can join us right there on the Lakers Fast Break. But before we head out, Joe Soro is coming up here in 14 minutes on the Joe Soro channel, the Joe Soro Experiment. Please remind everybody what you got in store for them coming up here in 14 minutes, my friend.
We're going to talk Dodger baseball, Laker basketball, and I'm going to go in depth on the Malik Beasley little thing that apparently some people are saying is going to be done within a few days. But I'm telling you right now, the seeds are being planted.
Do you think it was conveniently timed to free agency?
I don't know if that's the case, but you know that the Feds like to make an impression. They like
popcorn headlines.
Yeah, there you go. See, I was waiting for that one. Let's just hope. Well, I think in this case, the soup will still be warm by the time they get home. So, but I'm gonna keep it warm even longer because this is something that I think down the road we're gonna be able to look back to now as the seed. Of what's going on in the leagues.
It's embarrassing. There he is taking off at a kid's funeral.
We don't run.
Peeling out at a kid's funeral.
DivX Ray says the Mavs Discord is angry that Ayton is available for the Lakers.
He was demented at that point. That was sad.
Always a fixation for the Mavs and will ever be so.
If Discord blew up tomorrow, I would celebrate.
It's just too messy. I can't stand Discord.
I mean, you're talking
Reddit,
about
Discord. You can have them. I know Magic Man put a Reddit for us in there, but
between Discord,
and that was terrible. That ended up being a terrible idea. But I thought, Discord, what the hell? Let's try it.
It's the geek sewage. TikTok is the combination of just loser skanks.
I wouldn't know what that is. You got us banned on it, so I wouldn't know what
X is. I could say because there's a benefit with X because of the sports.
Because you do business on there.
It's still trash.
I know, but you do business on there, correct?
No, not on X. I do most of my business on Instagram because I can post pictures and talk about the stuff. And then Facebook's still my number one. Yeah, the gambling thing is.
A lot of skanks on Instagram too, gotta say.
Oh, they are, but you can avoid those a little bit better. Where if you go on X, everything is trash news. If you go on Discord, you have a bunch of dorks who've never gotten laid their entire lives that are just bitching and whining about everything. And then,
pencil that geeks with those sex life.
Yeah, and then of course I've never been on the site, but I mean OnlyFans is the used toilet water of society.
I'm telling you, with Cameo or OnlyFans, you would make a fortune, Joe. Just people paying you to rant. Just telling you, if Sinblades, with the Y.com.
Gerald, I think after about 3 seconds of scrolling the comment section, Joe would shut down his OnlyFans page.
Okay, I'm just saying, just people will pay.
Yeah, he's got too much. Ladies and gentlemen, this man has too much self-respect.
Okay,
I have children that look up to me. I don't do that shit.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm still a guy.
Cameos.
Let me put this on record. I'm still a guy. I do like scenery of things. every now and then, but it can't be fabricated. I don't get anything out of fabrication. So those guys that go to strip clubs and get the impression that the dancer really cares about what they say. Yeah, no, not gonna work with me. I think the last time I went to a strip club was for my buddy's bachelor party. That's where you want to go to Sapphires in Vegas, and yeah, I had to pay. I think I dropped $200 just to keep the strippers off me and just said, just take care of him. I don't need any of this.
I have a stripper story, Gerald, but it would get you kicked off YouTube.
That's what we did. I went to, the last one I went to was a bachelor party, and we went downtown to I forget which one it was. It's the one major. It's right off the I-15. It's still there today. That's all we did. The groom, we sent him from one room to another. We spent over $2,000 in 1997 money or 1998 money to tell you how much we spent today.
No matter what a stripper tells you,
it was the most boring thing to me. It was the most boring thing in the world because we just sat there. I was just here's 100 more. Can you take him to that room? Here's 100 more. Can you take him to that room, please? Yeah, it's boring, Joe, because it's so manufactured. And I'll just leave it at that. But Legend.
Yeah, and that's I have friends of mine that were trying to convince me that a lady of the night is the right move when you want to handle business. And I said that's not how my brain works. This was years ago. Old dudes. You're like, Joe, come on, man, stop being a square. I'm like, look, I don't get anything out of it. What do you want me to do? It's just how I'm wired. But apparently most of society, most of the men out there I guess they like the fabrication.
Div X-Ray says, I want to fisticuff with Joe. He would be a great guy to humble. Well, do it on the Joe Soro channel at 10 o'clock. But before we
fisticuff, what are you?
I'm ready, Joe.
80?
I'm ready. Yeah, do it the old school. Yeah, do
Irish,
the old school.
Are you going to go old Irish boxer style on me?
Yes. Yes, there you go. Absolutely. Legend, what have you got punching up for us on I Got Next Sports Media before we heading out?
Well, I mean, but Joe, you kind of do give off that I'm gonna bare knuckle box you kind of vibe. You don't look like a sanctioned licensed fighter.
No, and you're right because I'm not a trained fighter.
Right, so it's like we're gonna go into the back, and it's bare knuckle.
I have to,
and I'm gonna remove some of your face.
There's two things that I've always said. I said, first of all, I don't like fighting. It's a waste of my time. However, the reason why I could never be a professional fighter is because.
Well, let me ask you a question. I would guess if I had guess, okay, I would say anywhere from 95 to 97% of your fights have been because the other person provoked you into it.
Correct. I mean, it provoked me to the point where
you have no choice.
I had no choice. Now, the last one I was in, this was years ago. He threatened my friend. That was it. That was like I remember he was on the phone. He was threatening him, and I don't even know why he was threatening me. It had nothing to do with what was going on. And I finally got on the phone. I said, "Where the fuck are you?" Like I was, I gotta be pissed to get.
I understand all of that. I can see. That's why gives off the same vibe. These guys gives off the same vibe.
These guys that are doing, they're doing the LeBron handshake before fights. I'm like, I don't even know what the hell that is. I gotta hate you to fight. If I don't hate you, I'm not gonna fight well. I gotta really get pissed to fight. I can't just be.
Those are usually the best ones. Those are the best ones.
Yeah. No. Fighting is not my thing. I don't like it. It's a waste of time. Fighting is for those who fight professionally. That's what it's for. Just like guys who do gear, like people who juice, people who heavily juice. I'm gonna give the old guys a little bit of a leeway here, like testosterone and all that. I don't really consider that the heavy stuff. But the guys that do the heavy stuff, hey man, if they're competing and they're making a living off of it, that's probably what you got to do, right? But if you're not competing, I think it's a waste of time. Just like fighting is if you're not getting paid for it. You're going to break your hand. You might crack your skull. Like there's zero benefit there.
By the way, speaking of which, there was
That's a great movie, Nick.
There was a great
Oh,
fight.
There's a
do that
remake
movie.
on the way.
There's a great fight that happened in Philly this weekend, Gerald, and there's a video of a twin escorting his other twin into the paddy wagon. He did arrest him, but the twin's taking the other twin out of the paddy wagon in handcuffs. It's absolutely hilarious. The whole neighborhood's going nuts.
Well, I know Joe. I would imagine it would be, John. I would imagine it would be. Nick T, it's already in motion. There's a Running Man remake already.
And they're gonna butcher it because they're gonna put some.
Oh, you know it.
They're
That's
gonna
what I
put
think.
They're gonna put some lady in the Richard Dawson role to make her look like a boss bitch and fuck up the entire movie. Watch.
I'm so scared they're gonna totally destroy the Naked Gun movie next month with Liam Neeson. So yeah.
Well, at least they got Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson has got some
Who's
good
playing
dry
his
humor in him.
role
What do you mean?
in the new Naked Gun? Is he playing himself again?
He's playing
Yeah. So who's
Leslie
playing his
Nielsen.
role?
he's playing the Leslie Nielsen role.
Okay.
It's his son. It's Liam Neeson is playing Leslie Nielsen's son in the movie.
Okay.
So
I don't
all the
follow.
all the characters from the Naked Gun movies have children,
And
offspring.
Pamela
that-
Anderson plays the Priscilla Presley
except for
role.
one, Gerald. Except for
No,
one.
that's included in it. It's a part of the joke. Watch the trailer on YouTube.
I really.
They go there.
Really?
Yes,
they go there?
Yes, they go there.
Oh,
Watch the trailer and you'll see. Legend. Before we head on out, my friend,
That's
I
really
appreciate,
bad.
You, Joe, and Sean for being on the panel today. Don't forget, tomorrow we will be coming on live for NBA free agency. You're more than welcome to join up with us, as always, Legend. But what are you doing for your?
I'm gonna
I Got
peace
Next
out, guys.
Sports
I'll see you in 3 minutes.
We'll see you in 3 minutes on the Joe Sorrell channel.
Later,
But what are
guys.
you doing on your channel? Thank you, Joe. Peace. Legend, what are you doing on your channel before we head on out?
I'm definitely working on a video for Golden State. We're gonna talk about what we need and everything going into our free agency. I'm probably working on the same thing for the Hawks as well. And then lastly, I'm gonna probably work up some things for college football wise. I want to talk about what my university needs going into our football season for Sunbelt Conference, and then talk about my SEC school, UGA. What do we need to do to get back to the championship game?
All right. Sounds good.
Who's your alma mater, Legend?
Georgia Southern University.
All right.
There you go.
It's a great
Man,
school.
USC this season too.
Nice. Oh, there you go. All the best to you and Georgia Southern for hopefully a great season for you guys out there. But if you want to know what's going on with the NBA, college football, and more, please like and subscribe to I Got Next Sports Media. That is Legends channel. It is down in the description below, so you cannot avoid it. It's right there for you. And also as well, please like and subscribe. We had a big crowd. We had as many as 120 people jumping on tonight. Obviously eager to find out as far as what's going on. Hopefully we can have that and even more for our NBA free agency special tomorrow. So for Legend, from I Got Next Sports Media, the Magic Man, Sean Grice, a guy who's very particular about his certain arrangements as far as what he was describing with Joe earlier. Yes. Absolutely, indeed. Joe, who is also very particular. I guess there's no, Sean, no, there's no OnlyFans in the future for Joe Sorrell, man. I'm serious. He would make $1 million just private rants to people. Private rants. I already told him before Cameo. Cameo's not that bad.
Gerald, if he
he could say happy birthday, you MF.
Since he's not here,
since he's
since he's not here, we could go in on this. All right. So
yeah.
I think you're right, Gerald. You're absolutely right. If he didn't have children, and I think his wife would be okay with that, honestly.
Okay.
But if he did have children, I think he would, because he'd be he could be his generation's version of Sam Kinison. I mean, he's that angry, Gerald. He's that wired to be that angry. And ladies and gentlemen, Sam Kinison was a freak of nature anyway, but he added alcohol and drugs and women too. Joe doesn't need that. Joe is naturally built angry, Gerald. I've never seen a force of nature that angry before.
Yes. Just like the Hulk.
Naturally, yes, pretty much. So if he wanted to, he could do it. I agree with Gerald.
Fisticuffs. Fisticuffs, Sean.
But it'd have to be authentic, Gerald. You know, even today, with Joe being who he is, as his girls have gotten older, they do not like it. Shocking, Gerald. Shocking.
Shocking indeed.
Now, Gerald, you are also a girl dad. Do your girls have a problem with your personality online?
Always. Always.
For different reasons.
Always.
For different reasons.
They're at the age where they don't want the old dad saying anything out in public as far as embarrassing them. And just me being who I am, I do that every single day. Like I went to my good friends. They opened up their third store in Las Vegas here, Retro City Games.
Oh, okay.
And
is it good?
Yeah, it's a really great place for retro games, video games, and the like. As far as collectibles, Pokemon.
What do we got in terms of arcade, Gerald?
Well, arcade, no, they don't. It's
Okay.
just all retro video games you can buy from PlayStation, Nintendo, etc., etc. So
Nice.
as always, I go in there and I'm loud and bombastic, and you can just see my eldest daughter looking at me with just the hate and her eyes, just like, I'm going to kill you, Dad. I don't know how, I don't know when. The deed will be done. Just they have that look at that age, like, you know what? And this thing is, if you're the dad, you want to go ahead and push that so much further. You just want to be that even more bombastic, and I'll just leave it at that. But I love my daughters, and my daughters are incredible. Just so blessed. But yes, thanks everyone for joining us.
And
I
then,
truly appreciate it.
and then,
I mean, they
20
still
minutes-
claim me as their dad, so I guess that says something, Sean.
And then, well, I mean, Gerald, I was once a college student, so I understand. 20 minutes later, Dad, I need $20. Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Legend from I Got Next Sports Media. The Magic Man, Sean Grice. Joe Soros here. Remember, Joe Soros' game, Corrupt, Coreupt, is now $5, 80% off for a limited time only, part of the Steam summer sale right there on Steam. So again, please join us tomorrow. Our NBA free agency special. Who will the Lakers get? Or are they waiting for a certain someone to become available on Wednesday? We'll find out all the questions and all the answers to them coming up here, starting tomorrow, right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.